There's a place in Michigan where breathtaking beauty meets tragic history. A roaring waterfall carved by time, and just a short drive away, the resting place of hundreds of lost ships beneath the cold water of Lake Superior. Today, we're going from nature's masterpiece to Michigan's most haunted coastline.
Tahquamenon Falls is one of Michigan's most iconic natural wonders, tucked deep in the Upper Peninsula and surrounded by dense forest. It's actually made up of two main sections, the Upper Falls and the Lower Falls, each offering a totally different experience.
Take the next right.
Right next to the Upper Falls parking lot is the Visitor Center, nicknamed the Fact Shack. Here you can grab maps, learn about the falls through interactive exhibits, and even borrow accessibility gear like a track chair for boardwalk access. This is the Upper Falls. We call it the Root Beer Falls because of the tannin in the river from the trees. Here, the Upper Falls are the second largest waterfall east of the Mississippi River. Only Niagara Falls is bigger in volume. It's actually 50 feet high, and it is over 200 feet across. It is spilling up to 50,000 gallons per second during the springtime. Sure. On that left side, you can really see the color in it a little bit better. Let's continue on and see how close we can get. 94 steps down, 94 steps up. They're nice steps though. Always into the sun. The roar of the Upper Falls is intense. Even standing a few hundred feet away, you can feel the mist on your face. This is Camp 33 Gift Shop, a must-stop before or after your waterfall visit. You can find apparel, accessories like Minnetonka moccasins, backpacks, or jewelry, and of course, souvenirs and toys. Also next to the gift store is the Camp 33 Brewery and Pub, a privately owned microbrewery right at the falls. Serves hearty UP favorites and craft beers. It's open daily during the warmer months. A rugged 4-mile trail connects the Upper and Lower Falls through deep forest, great for wildlife spotting and photography, but today we chose to drive over. Nice facilities. It is nice that they're available there. Restrooms, waterfall, another gift shop, cafe, and boat rental. Wow, it's pretty in here. Cafe and gift shop back there. The Lower Falls is actually a series of 5 smaller cascading falls surrounding this island. This area is definitely more relaxed than the Upper Falls and a little bit more kid-friendly as well. What makes the Lower Falls special is how interactive it is. You can walk right up to the edge or even rent a boat and paddle between the many waterfalls. It's like your own private water park, without all the crowds. This park is wild, literally. You can see everything from bald eagles to black bears. And in winter, these falls freeze into epic natural sculptures. Just off the beaten path near Whitefish Point lies Michigan's only Centennial cranberry farm, 130 years old and still family run. Of course, we had to check this out. Founded by fisherman John Clark in the mid-1870s, he saw cranberry potential in the wild bogs near Lake Superior. In 1897, the farm thrived, harvesting approximately 1,600 bushels from 20 acres, a big revenue for that era. Jenny's Cranberry Gibbs. There's a park right here. It's rare to see such a living piece of UP history, over a century old, still in the family, and still farming cranberries. I love exploring. Speaking of exploring, let's hit the road. Next stop, one of Michigan's most historic and haunting destinations. After soaking in the power of Tahquamenon Falls, we've driven 11 miles north to a place where history and mystery collide, Whitefish Point. One of the most treacherous bodies of water in the world. And waiting at the end is this legendary Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum. Standing tall at the tip of the point is Michigan's oldest active lighthouse on Lake Superior, built in 1849, still guiding ships to this day. This is our first stop. Life as a keeper here was intense. By the late 1800s, the station had a keeper, assistant, and sometimes a second assistant, all living on site with families. They sounded foghorns, maintained beacons, and monitored storms on this edge of civilization. Keepers didn't just tend lights. In 1914, keeper Robert Carlson and local fishermen used the station's surfboat to rescue 11 men from a capsized launch. And reportedly, Carlson pulled a revolver to ensure their help. Over the decades, the surrounding waters claimed hundreds of ships, most famously the Edmund Fitzgerald in November 1975. The lighthouse beacon and radio were off because of no power that night, and 29 men perished. Today, each year on November 10th, a ceremony rings the ship's recovered bell 29 times.
And then the spirits, people reporting footsteps echoing, doors locking themselves, and muffled whispers in the keeper's quarters, even when there's no one there. A paranormal team from the Upper Peninsula Paranormal Research Society captured the steady voice of a woman in the light tower despite being alone. Other visitors have seen a woman in 1890s dress pacing near the tower, and some claim to have glimpses of phantom ships off the beach, ghostly replayings of wrecks in the fog.
From heroic rescues in waves to the lonely vigil of keepers, and the possibility that spirits linger, it's clear the Whitefish Point Lighthouse is a living monument to human courage and the mysteries left in its wake. Let's head out onto the beach to have a little look around. Graveyard of the Great Lakes. Whitefish Point has been called the graveyard of Lake Superior. Since navigation began on Lake Superior, there has been approximately 550 wrecks. More vessels were lost in the Whitefish Point area than any other part of Lake Superior. There are three major reasons for the high loss of ships in the Whitefish Point area. First, the eastern end of the lake is very congested, where the lake narrows down like a funnel, and up and downbound ship traffic must pass. Poor visibility in this congested area from fog, forest fires, and snow has caused numerous collisions and groundings. Finally, the nature of the largest lake itself, with the great expanse of over 200 miles of open water, can build up terrific seas during a superior northwestern storm. Collisions were common in earlier times. In the 1880s, over 3,100 commercial vessels were on the lakes, compared to less than 200 today. Since the first known shipwreck of a commercial vessel, the Invincible, in November 1816, to the Edmund Fitzgerald on November 10, 1975, approximately 320 lives have been lost in over 300 shipwrecks and accidents in the area, known as the Graveyard of the Great Lakes. Okay, welcome to Whitefish Point. You can definitely tell we're in a bay because you can see land. All the way around, except for that, where it opens up to the rest of Superior. The Shipwreck Museum is incredible. It tells stories of men who sailed through some of the most dangerous waters in the world. Let's see what it's all about. I believe we're going to find a powerful tribute to the thousands of lives lost on the Great Lakes, particularly in this haunting stretch of water known as the Graveyard of the Great Lakes. Inside the museum, we will discover exhibits that preserve the memory of those who braved the Great Lakes. From old shipwreck photos to personal items recovered from sunken ships, this museum tells their stories. One of the highlights is the bell of the Edmund Fitzgerald, recovered from the wreckage after the ship sank in 1975. It's rung annually in the remembrance of the 29 crew members who lost their lives. Here we have a recovered safe from the steamship Indiana. In a desolate 80-mile stretch that extends from Whitefish Point west to Pictured Rocks lie the broken remains of many and once proud vessels. In over 300 recorded accidents along the shipwreck coast, approximately 320 sailors have perished. Raging northwesterly storms that build over a 200-mile sweep of open water, along with poor visibility and heavy traffic in converging shipping lanes, have contributed to the great loss of ships and men. It is this deadly combination that has given Whitefish Point the ominous title, Graveyard of the Great Lakes. As we tour the museum, I'll share a few shipwreck stories. The SS Emperor, measuring 525 feet long, struck Canoe Rocks on Isle Royale in 1947. It sank quickly, taking 12 crew members with it. The Emperor's wreckage lies partially in shallow waters and has become a popular site for recreational divers who explore the tragic site preserved by Lake Superior's chilling depths. The Great Lakes divers' motto is, "Take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but bubbles." The SS Bannockburn, known as the Flying Dutchman of the Great Lakes. This ship disappeared in 1902 with no trace of its crew or wreckage ever recovered. Tales of ghostly apparition surrounded the SS Bannockburn, as mariners have reported sightings of the vessel's shadowy figure amidst the fog near Whitefish Point. Today, it remains one of the Great Lakes' most compelling mysteries. Here at the museum, some visitors and staff have reported some strange occurrences, like hearing footsteps or voices in the darkened hallways late at night. The stories of lost sailors seem to haunt these shores, just as their legacy lives on through exhibits like this. One of the most famous rescues took place during the Carl D. Bradley disaster in 1958. The crew of the Edmund Fitzgerald's sister ship, the Arthur Anderson, assisted in the Bradley's rescue, helping save over half of the 35-man crew after the ship split in half. This act of courage became one of the defining moments of Great Lakes maritime history. These shipwrecks, while tragic, are important parts of the area's history. Each tells a story of people who challenged the waters of the Great Lakes. And sometimes, the waters won. The story of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which sank on November 10, 1975, in a powerful storm, is perhaps the most famous of all Lake Superior contemporary wrecks. Measuring over 700 feet long and carrying taconite pellets, she was the largest ship sailing on North America's Great Lakes. The Fitzgerald went down without a distress signal in near hurricane-force winds and waves towering 35 feet high. She took the 29 crew members, including Captain Ernest McSorley, with her. The Fitzgerald rests in Canadian waters 530 feet deep, about 17 miles from Whitefish Bay. A U.S. Navy aircraft first detected the remains on November 14, 1975, and it was soon after found in two pieces. The mystery that shrouds the ship's fate is still being researched, but the ship and its crew live on in Gordon Lightfoot's 1976 haunting song, "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald." Anyone who attempts diving to the shipwreck site without first being approved by the Canadian government faces a $1 million fine. That's why the bell on display at the Great Lakes Shipwreck Museum is a rare encounter with this mighty ship. This museum honors not just the ships and crews that were lost, but the heroes who tried to save them and the legacies they left behind. If you're visiting, don't just pass through. Take a moment to hear their stories and remember the lives that were lost, but never forgotten. What an incredible day! As we cross the Mackinac Bridge back into Lower Michigan, signaling the end of our UP adventure, we can't help but to reflect on all that we experienced and learned. Amazing natural beauty, equally matched by nature's raw, sometimes overwhelming power, and the stories of people who made this place their home. We will be back for more adventures on Lake Superior. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Which part fascinated you most? Was it the nature, or was it the shipwreck history? The Mighty Mac, we did it! Thanks for watching. Let's go exploring.